Quincy City Council President and Ward 3 Councilor Ian Kane joining us for an update of the June 2nd council meeting. Hi, Ian.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome to June.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure to get updates on the council. It was busier than I thought it was going to be. Ordinance was rather busy last night, right?
Yeah, there was an ordinance committee meeting. I did not attend. I'm conflicted out of this issue. They're trying to discuss some rezoning transit-oriented districts for the north and the southern parts of the city that where you've got State Street Complex and Crown Colony, which you're seeing high levels of vacancy rates in office properties across the region, across the country, all over the place. Office work has changed. People aren't leasing like they used to. Older stock, et cetera, et cetera. And so, the planning department has been working to come up with some solutions that could potentially stimulate some redevelopment activity in those spaces. So I know that was the first part of the meeting. I just wasn't there. I work with an organization that could participate in some of this development, and so I'm out on this one.
Gotcha. Okay. Are you able to talk just more broadly about what transit-oriented districts are, what that would do?
Yeah, so the concept of transit-oriented districts, I think, first came up in 16 or 17, back when I first came in the council. So the idea was that you wanted to provide zoning relief and a quicker path to development on certain parcels of land in and around public transit areas, right? So we had started by looking at North Quincy T Station, Wollaston T Station. Of course, the Quincy Center T Station is governed by the Urban Renewal District in the downtown area in Quincy Adams. So we had first looked at the three. We split those out instead of looking at them as the same kind of area. They're very different. And then Wollaston got its own Urban Renewal District plan. North Quincy got a TOD, or a transit-oriented district plan. So did the Quincy Adams area. And then Quincy Adams also got further designated with or that area up in South Quincy for the MBTA Communities Act in order to satisfy more, I guess, requirements in development and absorbing some of the supply constraints in the greater Boston area. So yeah, I mean, it's a change to zoning code. It sort of changes the process by which a typical project would be presented, whether it's in a particular zone district like Residence A, Residence B, or industrial or commercial zone, or in the renewal districts themselves.
Yeah, I know the counselors for those areas, Councilor Harris up in North Quincy, Councilor Devine, Crown Colony are in support. They spoke in support of that last night.
Yeah, from what I heard, I mean, I think there's some clever thinking there. It could really activate those spaces in ways that they haven't been in some time, considering office work has changed a lot. So, look forward to seeing how that evolves.
Sure. Are you able to speak about the other order, the Housing Development Incentive Program for Granite Street?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to the main council meeting then. We had the Girl Scouts in.
At the Girl Scouts in, yeah, they usually come in every year. There are, I guess, ultimate sort of capstone projects that they do every year. And so the Girl Scouts came in. There were 7 of them, 2 or 3 different projects that were presented, and Councilor DeBona honored them with some commendations, and we took pictures in the well. It's always so impressive to see these young ladies come in, and I know how hard they work, and I know some of their parents who've talked about a lot of the work that they've done over the years. So it's cool to see. And I know one of them, one of the Girl Scouts in particular, I think had represented the city, or the troop from the city at a national competition and was recognized there. So that's really cool too. So Quincy's really bringing out some special people.
Yeah, I'm sure it always adds a little lightness to the council meeting when you have youngsters in.
Yeah, they're kind of the deflection sometimes.
Yeah, and it's I know it's meaningful for them. They have told me, I've had scouts on my programs here, and it's meaningful for them to be recognized by their community. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there are so many reasons to honor them as well. I mean, that's just some of the best stuff that comes out is what the young people are doing. And I think sometimes it goes understated,
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have business at the council meeting?
We did actually just aside something that
Yeah.
just popped in, because I'll be putting something out soon, but it's been 5 years since we did that COVID writing competition, remember?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and we did the readings for all the students. That was incredibly special. Capturing all those memories. I mean, I was just going through the final document the other day, which I'm going to put out, but capturing some of young people's sentiments and perspectives on what was going on at such a tense time, was so important, I thought. And I can't, it's hard to believe it's been 5 years.
I cannot believe that either, but I remember it well, and I was, happy to be part of that for sure. And those folks, they're 5 years older now, so they're a lot more mature, and they look back on that and see,
I mean, if they were high school seniors going to college, they're probably graduated.
exactly right.
So
Yeah.
that's why
So,
just that transition is huge.
yeah, yeah. But you and I don't get any older, Ian.
We don't, Joe. We just get younger and younger, and
That's that's right. We are evergreen.
yeah.
What else?
All right. So we had a couple things went to Finance Committee. We had a land disposition agreement for the property at 1620 Hancock Street, which is it was the former health food store area. And
Yes,
used
it
to be
was.
Coleman's Sporting Goods way back in the day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and Tasso's Pizza, I think.
Yeah, so that whole parcel, it's a land disposition agreement for approximately a project that would be approximately 160 residential units with retail at the bottom level. We didn't discuss it, it went straight into Finance Committee. There was an appropriation for $8.25 million for equipment and capital improvements that went into committee. And I don't think I've seen an outline of what that's covering exactly, but it says that it's for public building department improvements, Department of Natural Resources improvements and equipment, fire department vehicles and equipment, police department vehicles and equipment, education department vehicles and associated costs thereunto. So we'll hear that at a Finance Committee meeting on June 11 at 6:30, I believe.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, June 11, 6:30. And then we had some money contributed by Assembly to the DARE program, which was approved. And that was it. And then in the report of committees, the Finance Committee approved, and then the council approved the fiscal year 26 general budget, the sewer enterprise budget, and the water enterprise budget.
Okay, so formalities, basically, they've already been approved, yeah, okay.
Correct.
All righty, and the last full council meeting of the year.
The 16th.
Yeah.
6:30. So actually not 6:30, it'll be 6:40, but we've got an ordinance committee meeting on the transit oriented districts and the HDIP, or the Housing Development Zone and Plan.
Okay, very good.
Followed by a council meeting.
Are you speaking at the high school graduations, Ian?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nobody asked me to. Should I?
If you want to.
Is it like open mic? Can I just get up and
I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I've got something to say here.
Well, actually, here's your opportunity if you want to give a message to the class of 2025. Go right ahead.
Oh, wow. Well, do you have is that demographic a big watcher of your program?
Oh, the grandparents probably are.
The grandparents, okay. So there's an intermediary. I want to direct to the student.
That's right. Yes, exactly. But it is that season, certainly, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how fast that comes. We were just talking before. Just it's June, school's done, people are graduating, people moving on. That's great.
Absolutely. On a separate note, I wonder if we might talk a little bit about the Dragon Boat Museum, the first one ever in the country here in Quincy.
Yeah, I know, believe it or not. So this is I guess a brainchild and a baby of a good friend of my father's, who my father had talked about this guy for so many years and I had never met him. And interestingly enough, he started getting involved in Quincy. He lived in Randolph. His name's Peter Eng. And Peter's got a very interesting personal background. He was after high school, he joined the U.S. Air Force during Vietnam, and after that, he came back to the United States and was the first Asian American to pursue a career as an air traffic controller.
Really?
Yeah. And so, and then over time, he rose to become the first director of communications for the FAA. And so he worked for the FAA for 41 years.
Wow.
And I think, even he's seeing he'd be an interesting person to talk to right now about, what he's seeing in the FAA. I know he's pretty close to that action, but, this was a dream of his to open. I mean, he loved taking part in these races, and I think it contributed a lot to his life. And so this is just such a unique component to add to the cultural fabric of Quincy. There was a ribbon cutting and sort of a grand opening dedication on this past Saturday, and there was a great group of people there. Fuji contributed food, but the museum's such a wonderful space. There was a demonstration of a dragon boat then, and there, and there's art all around. But I certainly encourage people to pop in and check this out, because I mean I know nothing about dragon boat racing. I probably first heard about dragon boat racing through Counselor Liang, who I think had participated in some races and told me about it. But it's a really interesting component, because I don't, I think it's much more of a place for people to gather as a community. It's kind of it's community center rather than just sort of an exhibition. But and that was demonstrated over the weekend by all the people that showed up.
Where is this museum, Ian?
It's right next to the Quincy Art Association.
Oh, right on the Common in
Right
downtown.
on the common. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is a dragon boat? And why do they race? I mean, I don't. I'm pleading complete.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I know just as much or as little as you. I mean, I'm sure, just to compare it to something that you might recognize, it's probably akin to crew or rowing,
Okay.
just a different cultural aspect. But yeah, I mean, I look forward to learning more. And you can tell that Peter's passion is purely in this project, and it's really cool to have. I mean, it's another historical marker for Quincy, and it's really cool to see, in the evolution and
Hmm.
the sort of continuity of Quincy's 400 years, that this just adds another sort of vibrant component to the mix.
Yeah, that's really what caught my eye was the fact that hey, here's a significant population of the city getting their own museum now. So that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just their museum, it's our museum,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool in it. It's like it's a seamless integration too, which is the cool part. I think that, I love seeing in Quincy how from the north side of the city, how vibrant it has become with all the restaurants and small businesses just all along the Hancock Street corridor up to Quincy Center. And then, you continue down on Quincy Avenue, you've got
Mhm.
supermarkets and everything. And I just think that it has added such a positive cultural vibrancy to Quincy. It's just so unique.
Yep, absolutely. So folks can go to the museum and learn more about it.
Absolutely.
All right. Great. Catch you after the 16th meeting, if that's okay.
See you then.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Joe.